welcome back to my channel, and welcome if you are new. So as Christmas is coming right up, I wanted to share some holiday traditions that I grew up with and also the new family traditions that I'm creating as a first-time mom. I feel like this time of year is always the time when like nostalgia really hits, and like any little food that I eat or a song that I hear brings back very nostalgic memories. So if you are new to my channel or a returning viewer and have not subscribed, subscribe right now and hit that post notification bell so you always know when I post. Follow me on socials because when I'm not here, I am there. Without further ado, let's get into it. So to start off with, my family being Dominican, we always celebrate Christmas on Christmas Eve. We never actually celebrate on Christmas Day, and that's just because I feel like the party side of being a Dominican, that like we want to party for 2 days straight. Nationally, we always have Christmas Day off from work, so we will always celebrate Christmas Eve so that way we have Christmas Day to relax and eat leftovers. And if your family is anything like my family, Christmas is always at a certain person's house, and it always is, and it carries on for years. So Christmas was always at my mom's house. There was no question as to where Christmas was being held, and if you have to ask, then clearly you're not there every year. But Christmas is always hosted by my mom, and she always has a really huge feast. I was literally talking to her like yesterday and asking her what I'm going to be cooking and like what should I be bringing, what am I cooking for her, and she's like, oh, we're not gonna have too much, you know, there's not gonna be that many people this year. But then once she starts reading off the menu, it's like insane, and she's like, but everything's small, and I'm like, it's still a lot of food. So our traditional menu that we have like pretty much every single year and we can always count on is a pig. My mom always makes a pig, whether it's an entire pig, half a pig, there's always a pig with a head on the table. Some of the memories that come up is of when once me and my brother were older, we helped out cleaning and seasoning the pig, and I do have a picture of one year, and I'll insert it here, of when my brother was holding the pig. But that is like the main meat. Some of the other meats that my mom makes, it's gallina, which I believe translates to hen. Most years she also makes guinea, which is another like bird, and it translates to guinea bird. She also makes 2 or 3 kinds of rice, which is arroz con guandules, which is rice with pigeon peas, and white rice. This year she was talking about making un moro negro, which is like black bean rice, which is really, really good. But I told her, relax, don't make so much rice if there's not gonna be that many of us. We can always count on potato salad being on the menu, a green salad. I'm making the lasagna. We can never forget the lasagna, so I have been crowned the lasagna maker of the family now, so I will be making that. And there will also be pastelón, which is like a Dominican shepherd's pie. So it will be with potatoes, yuca, and then like meat and cheese. And we can't forget about my mom's flan. Like, my mom's flan is practically famous. Everybody always wants the recipe. But if you have been to my family's Christmas or any holiday, you can always guarantee that my mom's flan is gonna be there. Another Christmas tradition that always brings back memories, and we were literally discussing this the other day, is my dad always dressing up as Santa. When we were little, my dad always dressed up as Santa Claus on Christmas Eve. So when I used to live in New York, a lot of my family members actually lived in the same buildings and like on different floors. So what my dad used to do is he would go downstairs to his brother's apartment, get dressed up as Santa, and come up with all the presents, and he'll give them out to the kids. And he'll do the typical thing like, what do you want for Christmas? And then he'll give them the present. So that has always been such a happy, like, good memory for me. So I really wanted that for my son. So as of last year was the first year my husband was dressing up as Santa. So we bought a Santa suit. He dressed up as Santa. And this year my dad wants to dress up as Santa too. So they're gonna take turns. My dad's gonna dress up on Christmas Eve, and then my husband's gonna dress up Christmas Day. Another tradition that's not typical in most families is that we open presents on Christmas Eve at midnight. So as a kid, after all the adults, you know, like party like crazy, drank a lot, we were all stuffed, you know, us kids were anxiously waiting for midnight. And you could tell once midnight started rolling around, people started to like dwindle down a little bit, started just sitting on the couch and just like started falling asleep. So once that time came around, we would always open presents around midnight, which is so super fun. As we did get older, that kind of dwindled to more to like 8 p.m., 9 p.m., 10 p.m. because the once kids that are now adults like me get tired very, very early, and we just want to get it over with. So holiday traditions that I created as a new parent. So some of these traditions, me and my husband actually started it before we even had our son. And one of them was doing matching pajamas. Every single year, we always try to do matching pajamas. I'm really excited to put on our pajamas this year because they're like a little bit bougie, but they're still super cute. And we tend to get our Christmas pajamas to match like the color of the decorations that we have this year on our tree. So this year our Christmas tree's theme is like silver, white, and with hints of blue. So our Christmas pajamas are going to be blue, which you will see in the Christmas morning vlog. Another one is building gingerbread house. So me and my husband have actually been doing that ever since we got together. So we definitely do it every year. We don't do it on like Christmas. We always do it like a few weeks before. So like this year, I believe we did it probably like the first week of December. And I felt like we needed a do-over for this year because it wasn't actually a house. It was kind of like the front of a house with like little snow, with like little penguins. So I feel like we need a redo. A new tradition that I started up that I want to do with my son every single year is baking cookies. And I actually started this tradition about like probably once my son turned 1. He's now 3, so I've been doing it for 2 years. So I think it was like 2 videos ago, I showed you guys my baking holiday cookies video. But I basically make a ton of cookies, and I got the recipes from a previous manager of mine. She was Pennsylvania Dutch, so and those recipes were like family recipes passed down to her, and she was nice enough to share them with me. So I basically make peanut butter cookies, chocolate chip cookies, sugar cookies, snickerdoodles, and like cream cheese cookies. But I basically make a huge batch. So this year I made 12 dozen, but I'm pretty sure last year I made like close to 20 dozen cookies. I pack a couple of each cookies, put them in like a little baggie, and like hand them out to our family members. Once my son gets a little older and he can stand with me in the kitchen, because we've already tried him trying to help out and it's a hot mess. So my son is just not that into it yet, but once he's a little older, hopefully he will be helping me out, like baking these cookies and mixing. Another tradition that we started that neither me or my husband had done previously with our families is stocking stuffers. So when we started talking about this, not a lot of families do stocking stuffers. We started doing it just because I always see it in movies that like, you know, like there's little things like in stockings, and that's honestly how like I think Christmas started. You know, like kids hung their stockings by the chimney with care, like their actual like socks, and then Santa would like fill their stockings with like candy and like tiny toys and all that stuff. So we actually started that once we were together. And we're still keeping that alive with my son and getting him like little tiny toys. But I must say it is a little hard finding stocking stuffers for like myself and my husband. Like things that are small enough that would fit in a stocking that are actually like cool things. I think we're getting to a point that we're just running out of ideas. I think that's what makes it hard. And the last tradition is keeping the Santa Claus idea alive. I felt like my idea of Santa Claus was cut a little short, and like I didn't believe in Santa Claus past the age of like 7 or 8. I'd say most is like 7. I think by the time I was 7, it was cut short. I felt like my niece never really had the idea of Santa Claus. Really, I think hers was cut short too. And I tell my parents this all the time, that I feel like they were the cause of it, because they would take her to the store, tell her to pick out a present for Christmas, and say that they're gonna ship it out of Santa so that Santa can bring it back to her on Christmas Day. And I felt like that made no sense, and it like hurt my heart, because I'm like, she basically is a little girl with no idea of Santa Claus and how Santa Claus works. So the way that we're trying to keep the idea of Santa Claus alive is, one, we are actually not opening presents on Christmas Eve like how I grew up. We only do that like with like when I go to my parents' house. So any presents that they get for the kids, they can open them Christmas Eve, but any presents that are in this household are Christmas morning. So we get the presents, we wrap them up, and we hide them, and we don't take them out until like my son's asleep on Christmas Eve, so that way that they're there on Christmas morning. I feel like I never had that, and my husband says this too, like as you buy the gifts, like the presents just start to show up under the tree, and they're kind of just there, and like the anticipation kills us. I feel like I wanted to keep this Santa idea alive by doing it this way, not putting presents under the tree until Christmas Eve. So as I go down the years of being a parent and making new traditions, I am taking some of my original traditions along with me, which is my husband dressing up as Santa, so my son can always see Santa every year. And I do like the idea of celebrating Christmas on Christmas Eve, like having the whole dinner and everything on Christmas Eve, to have like the Christmas Day relaxation. I really like that, like wake up Christmas morning, have a slow morning, and then open presents and relax the rest of the day. I'm always thinking about what new traditions that I can create, and I'm really looking forward to, as the years go by, like what traditions we end up making. I'm sure that once my son gets a little bit older, he'll start bringing up ideas of what of things he wants to do during the holiday season. So I'm really excited for that. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. Comment down below your favorite holiday tradition. And subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Until next time, you guys, thank you so much for watching. Bye!